There's one other type of equation, and slope-intercept form is probably the major one. But there is another form, and it's called point-slope form. A linear equation is written in this form right here when it's in point-slope form. The reason it's called point-slope form is that if you look here, you see x1, y1. Those come from the point, the coordinate point over here, and then m is the slope. So in point-slope form, you can tell what one of the points is on the line and the slope. The line passes through x1, y1, and there's the slope. So there's a picture demonstrating what I was talking about. In example 1, we have to write in point-slope form an equation of the line that passes through the point -6, 1 with a slope of 2/3. So first thing I'm going to do is write the formula first. Anytime you have a question and you have a formula, you should always write the formula first before you plug in anything. So now this is x1, this is y1, and this goes in for m. So now it's just a question of plugging in my values into the formula. So y minus 1 equals -6 times, oh, no, not -6, the slope is 2/3, x minus -6. And x minus -6 is the same as x plus 6, so I'll write that instead. And this is all they want. It's in point-slope form using that information. Example 2. Write in slope-intercept form. See, now you got to pay attention to what kind of form they want. An equation of the line that passes through the points 2, 4, and 5, -2. So I want to use that formula that we learned a very long time ago that we haven't necessarily used that much. It's y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. I taught you this back in the slope lesson, which was lesson 4.2. So I'd like to use it now. So I'll label x1, y1, x2, y2. And the reason that they label like that is because this is an x value and this is a y value. This is an x value, this is a y value. So now, again, it's just a question of plugging in the numbers. y2 is -2. y1 is 4. x2 is 5. And x1 is 2. So let me simplify that. -2 take away 4 is -6. 5 minus 2 is 3. And as a final number, that's -2. So I'm going to start my point-slope form. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. And now I've just found out what the slope is. So I can plug that in the formula for m. But the question is, what do you plug in for x1 and y1? Well, luckily, I already have it labeled. What a coincidence. Isn't that wonderful? x1 and y1 are already labeled. So let's plug in. Y minus 4 equals -2 times x minus 2. Oh, but never mind, that's not what they wanted, and I even underlined it. Ah, this is why we lose those silly points on a test, because they want it in slope-intercept form. I almost fell for it. So that's not the final answer. We actually have to get it in y equals mx plus b form. Duh. So, that's an exclamation point at the end. So, I need to distribute. So, y minus 4 equals, I'm going to distribute the -2. -2x plus 4. Then I'll drop a line and add 4 to both sides. And now what they wanted is y equals -2x plus 8. This is the answer. Right here. Sorry about that. I almost got it wrong. Last one together. You finish parasailing and are being pulled back to the boat. After 2 seconds, you are 10 feet above the boat. A. Write and graph an equation that represents your height, y, in feet above the boat after x seconds. So, x represents seconds and y represents feet. So this represents x, 1, and this represents y, 1. So let's write the formula. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Y minus 25 equals. Do you see the slope anywhere in the question? The rate of change? It's right here, 10. And since you're going down 10 feet per second, it's negative 10. X minus 2. So, although this is a correct equation, we have to graph it, so let's get it in slope-intercept form. So let me distribute negative 10x plus 20, be careful, and then I have to get the y by itself. So I'll add 25 to both sides. So my final formula is y equals negative 10x plus 45. Now I have to graph it. It looks like I probably could go by 5s on the grid, and it doesn't make sense to have negative seconds or negative feet, because negative feet means you're in the water. So I'll go by 5s. No, I'll go by 1s on the bottom. Okay, so that's good enough for me to label. Now I start at 45 because the B is 45, M is negative 10 over 1, and the B is 45. And now I have to go down 10 and write 1. But remember, down 10 is really 2 boxes. So be careful when you're counting. Pay attention to the numbers. 10 is 2 boxes. Okay, and I will label y equals negative 10x plus 45. Oh, well, I'm not going to go negative, so let me fix that. Right, that's just silly for me to be in the negative, so I'll scribble this out. Okay. At what height were you parasailing? So I started at what height? Well, I started here, and that's at the point 0, 45. So I started parasailing at 45 feet. If you have any questions, write them down and ask me when you see me next.